Everyone, and usually I don't do my live videos on my YouTube channel, but I just want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. I've noticed over the last few weeks I've been getting more and more subscribers, and I just want to say thank you for continuing to comment on my videos and also to subscribe. So the reason I want to talk about this particular topic is because I know that it's something that many people struggle with, and also there's probably some of you that are going to be watching this that are a fan of the show Teen Mum, which is a franchise. It's been going on now for years. You've got Teen Mum UK, you've got the original girls, you've got Young and Pregnant. And one of the quotes from one of the most popular couples on that show is from Caitlin and Tyler. They've been on the show for quite a while. They got together when they were 16, 17, I think. They had a young daughter. They gave her away for adoption after, thinking it through. They've now had another child together, and Caitlin's expecting. So because Caitlin has depression and anxiety, the quote that I took from the show when I watched it last week was that Tyler said, "I'm trying to figure out how I can be supportive to Kate without being destructive to me." So this is a young person who I think he's in his early 20s now, Tyler, and he's got a dad who has had addiction, a sister with addiction problems. He's got his wife now with depression and anxiety, plus he's got a young daughter and a child on the way. And in the episode, he was talking about just how everything's becoming too much now, and he's asked for this trial separation where they live separately, so that he can just work on himself and just have that space. And for many people who are in relationships with someone, whether it's someone with an addiction, but particularly we're going to talk about depression or mental health here, the difficulties can be on both sides. The person with the depression can feel guilt. They can feel pressure that they have to change or do something differently. They can feel misunderstood. They can feel like they're a burden. Whereas the other person can feel overwhelmed, uncertain, scared about whether the relationship can last, drained and unsupported. And both people have a right to feel how they feel within that relationship, because it's their experience, that's their emotion. And if both of the people's feelings are not discussed and they don't receive the support from each other but also from outside of the relationship, many times they will just break up. And the breakup will occur not because of the depression, but because of how they've both interacted and responded to the depression. And it's how you view things in any time you're in a couple, you're in a relationship, it's how you view something. So if someone cheats or if something happens, you can either decide that you're going to focus on that situation or that circumstance and you're going to try and resolve the issue that has come in and destroyed this relationship, or you can blame the other person, or you can see it as being their issue. So the minute you see that person, it's your depression, you have to handle it, you have to work on it. You're the one that's ruining this relationship because you have depression. You are no longer functioning as a team, and you're no longer putting yourself in a position where the person with depression can feel they can rely upon you, that they can get the support from you, and where they feel that the relationship can, become better. So the person who doesn't have the depression might sometimes feel like they have to put their needs and their feelings on the side. This is the impression I was getting from Tyler when he was talking, that, who's there for me? I have to be the strong one. I have to support my wife. I have to support my dad, my sister. Where's my support? And I think also if you're a man as well, and a young man, and you've got a family and you've got a wife, it can be really difficult for you to say, sometimes I don't know what to do. Sometimes I just feel like crying. Sometimes I need a hug from my mum. I can see it in his body language and also in his eyes. That's probably what he needs. He just needs his mum or someone to come along and say, we'll take this load, we'll take this burden off you. Do you want to come out and do something fun or some activity? But he feels that he can't because he has to be there for his family, his wife and his child. And what happens then is that it just becomes compounded within you, the person. You just feel that your life has to be, you're putting your own needs and feelings to the side, and you have to take care of this person who now has, you know, the depression. So 4 top tips I'm going to give you guys. Number 1 is to find out about your partner's condition. Do some research on it. Ask them what helps. You know, when I'm depressed, what would you like me to do? How would you like me to support you when you are going through an episode? You know, what's the best way for me to help you? It's down to you to do the research, but it's also down to the person with the depression to help educate you. It's the only way it's going to work, because you need to understand how this condition, how debilitating it really is for someone with any form of mental health. But depression is particularly difficult, because you can have good days and bad days. Number 2 is to make sure you have a support network outside of the relationship. You don't want to be continuously using your partner as the emotional support, because it's good that you do that, and I think there has to be elements of that in a relationship, but you also don't want them to be your only person that you can offload to, because it would be like, I'm a counsellor and I know that people come to me and they offload, but I have opportunities to then walk away from that after our 1-hour appointment. I have supervision, so I can talk to my supervisor, plus I can find other ways to, you know, release what has been said. If you're living with someone and it's constantly, they're just needing that level of intense support from you, it can become emotionally draining. So you need a support network outside. Number 3 is to have check-ins where you talk about other things. Put the depression to the side sometimes. Don't let the depression be more powerful than the two of you as a couple. Don't make every discussion, every decision, every argument be about the depression. If you wasn't depressed, then we would do this, or I'm not spending my life with someone that lies in bed all day, or you know, you could try harder, or you're just putting this on, or you're just wanting sympathy for the depression. Don't allow that to happen. Have normal conversations about everyday things. Continue to build the relationship that you have. You obviously fell in love with that person, or you obviously decided to be with that person despite knowing that they have depression. So don't allow that to ruin things. And the 4th one is kind of linked with that as well. Work on the fun side of your relationship, the connection, the intimacy. Just go out on those dates, do fun things together, keep the connection, keep the affection. Don't allow, if your partner, it's not about forcing anything either, things have to be natural. But what sometimes happens, this is what I've found with people who spoke to me, is because there's medication, sometimes people have to be on, and because depending on what day, what mood they're in that day, and depending on what they want to do and what they do, don't change all of your plans and kind of feel that you can't have any fun or you can't do, just adapt. Maybe you've booked this massive activity weekend away, but that weekend your partner is going through a crisis with their depression. Okay, bring it to the house, do something fun in the house instead. You know, an affection should never go anywhere. So regardless of what's going on, try and maintain that affection, whether it's through touch, whether it's physical. Your partner might not want the physical side, but you can still have, you know, kisses, touch, sitting on laps. There's so many ways you could be affectionate with someone. So I hope you found this video useful. I know a few of you would have joined me live, and thank you for that. Please leave your comments, and anyone that is watching this on the replay, then please feel free to leave your comments on here, and you can head on over to my Facebook pages, NU Journeys Counselling, and my other page, Coach Marianne Hanson, and you'll see my live videos from today. I've done this video over on there, and I'll go into a lot more depth there. Thanks for watching everyone, and thank you to all my subscribers.